Thank him personally and publicly, and I thank the Baseball Heritage Museum for providing this venue. This is beautiful, and my main reason for being involved in all this is I didn't hit a ton like Gary Oring or Phil Bova or Paul Stefan or Al or any of those guys, but I came from Chicago, and I'll give you the backstory in a minute. And my story, I think, validates what a great situation you had here in Cleveland. And I'm not buttering your bread. I'll give you some facts, some stories that'll validate that, I think. So, to give you the backstory, in 1965 I graduated from college after playing some ball, and I was moving here to Cleveland to start my work at John Carroll University in an advanced program, and also to marry my wife Teresa, who's in our audience. She's a native Clevelander, a big Benedictine fan. Anyhow, so I moved and graduated. Purposeful? Is that purposeful? No. I graduated in May of '65, and I traveled here to Cleveland and set up at John Carroll University for the summer. And I asked Teresa, I said, what's the main newspaper here in town? And I'm going to validate some of the things that Dan Coughlin said. The Plain Dealer was at the top of that game. And she said, yeah, you want to read the Plain Dealer? And so I went to the sports section right away, and I opened it up, and I'm saying, what? They're covering what we called back in Chicago semi-pro ball. You call it amateur, we call it semi-pro. And I couldn't believe there were line scores, not line scores, there were box scores of the teams that played at Edgewater Park or whatever. And I couldn't believe this. I'm reading the paper during the summer, and I said, I've got to go out there. She gave me directions how to get out to Edgewater Park. I go and I watch the ball. Then I said, it's a pretty good ball. You know, I said, boy, how do you get involved in this? Because I was really impressed. Great place to play. Matter of fact, I think I saw the Truckers playing that time, the first time. And so we get married in August. I go to school. I start doing some coaching at Benedictine in football. In any case, I say, well, I've got to get connected in some way. And so I call City Hall. Maybe I call
roommate, Mary Jane.
And then I said, well, how do I get a chance to try out for one of these ball clubs? And I always thought that Frank had an insider who played ball with him, but I think the insider was this gentleman over here, Tom Maloney, who would let Frank know anybody who's coming into town and might want to play some ball. So anyhow, we get connected. Frank and I get connected.
Why don't we try this? See if this one works any better.
Maybe I killed it.
Probably, maybe you're
too close. So Frank and I get connected. He invites me out to a workout, and it didn't go well, you know. And so I was happy that he'd asked me for day 2, because day 1 was nothing to write about. I had not played ball for that off season and all, and timing was bad then. Timing is still bad now. But in any case,
there's this little button. Are you touching this little button, Frank? I mean, John.
George? No? I may be. Okay, I'll hold it up here. So anyhow, long story short, he says come back for a second day, and I come back for a second day, and I was fortunate. Now Gary talked about how formative this was all for him, because he grew up in the area. I came from Chicago, and I'm telling you how formative it was for me. And as I said before, as I alluded to, Frank wanted me to Anyhow, Frank wanted me basically to tell the story how the difference between Chicago and Cleveland was. I said, I can tell you how it was, and I've got some notes here if you'll bear with me. If you'll just bear with me.
You're making me sound like a linguist.
That's why they put us together. So anyhow, here's the contrast, the comparison.
Just take it up. Just stand, yeah. Stand up. Stand up.
So the contrast or the comparison really goes like this. I thought there were 3 key players in this whole scenario for me. Dan alluded to number 1, the Plain Dealer. As he alluded, it was a top-notch newspaper who sounded slash-lights and all. But that's what brought me in touch, first of all, with Sandlot baseball in Cleveland. I read the Plain Dealer, I read the sports section, I learned about Edgewater Park, they went up Truckers. All right. The Cleveland Baseball Federation, as I studied later, was impressive. Now, came from Chicago, which is a little bit bigger than Cleveland, all right? But, you know, here with the Baseball Federation, very highly centralized, organized, and inclusive. They had a board of directors. They had a Century Club where you had to donate at least $100 to. They had 250 members. And I've got the facts in this little booklet here that show 250 members donating at least $100 to this whole fund, to this whole Cleveland Baseball Federation. And they supported the groups, whatever it was, from A to F. I think F. Should I allow that and kill that one as well? So, beside the plain dealer, the Cleveland Baseball Federation, and then come the truckers. So those are the three key partners in my life. Here as I moved to Cleveland in 1965. And with the truckers, of course, it was Frank's truckers, and Al alluded to the who's who, the pros and amateurs, during that short window that I was with the ball club. I played a couple years, coached 1 year, and we returned to Illinois, back to my hometown with two of our children. And our oldest is here. He plays into a story that I'll tell, and I think points out what a beautiful place you had here, and maybe you still have here, but we don't know it as well as I knew it.
Usually my wife dresses me up with that. You think it'll go? You think it'll go? Right.
Just like Robin's football.
Thank you. Anyhow, Al alluded to Frank knowing talent. Just to give you a little idea of the guys during my short window here in Cleveland. 3 major leaguers, Dave Pope was in center field for us. Mike Easterstein and Steve Stromstein. All right, those are 3 big ones. Then you got guys who play pro ball who signed the contract. Nabi, a guy named Lou Connier who's living in Montana right now. Larry Moss, Jimmy Acknow, who you may have known from Benedictine fame, who unfortunately passed away. Jimmy Redmond, who played ball in Japan and then just pro ball. So there were 6 who signed connected with that ball club. Then 3 others they made for themselves. Paul Steffen, and he practiced pitcher for the Indians. Rush Chase isn't here with us today, but he went on to play a lot of, coach a lot of football, college football. And then Al Drew. Okay, so just in that little window, you saw the major leaguers, the pro ball players, and others who went on. So the stories that really kind of validated how important this all was. I'm going to take you back to that first year that we played. At the end of the regular season, we were getting ready to go into a postseason play, which was a tournament for what ADF, or I'm not even sure what it was. But Frank scheduled the ball game with the ball club from Lakewood. And we're at Woodland Hills. And my brother and my best friend come in for that weekend. And I have to tell you, my brother is a priest, a Benedictine monk. And so he was going to baptize his son, who was born just a few months earlier. And my best friend was going to be the godfather. So my brother and my best friend come into Cleveland, and we just so happened to have this practice game. And I said, well, come on out to the ball game and see what the caliber of ball this ball club was like. All right, so we go out there, and the other ball club's taking batting practice. And my brother, who's now 90 years old and a pretty good baseball fan, says, you know, the guy in the ball looks pretty good. He looks pretty familiar. Who's that? I said, that's the manager. His name is Bob Feller. And he could not believe that Bob Feller was pitching batting practice to his ball club before that game. And that's a true fact. That's a true fact. So anyhow, it's important that my brother saw that, because when I went back to Chicago and told that story more than a few dozen times, I had a priest validate for me that was true. That was true. Anyhow, some of the other experiences, we had a chance to play in Sandlot Day at the Municipal Stadium where the Indians played. That was outstanding. So we're playing ball, or we get a chance to play against the All-Star team. It had to be 68. And 69, maybe. And one of our guys, and if you remember, the first game was between the Indians and the Reds. And then we played the follow-up, and they, most of them left the ballpark. But anyhow, one of our guys hit the home run with a fence to the left, Wayne Kastura. So he hit the home run, he comes into the dugout, He goes to the end of the dugout, and there's a guy sitting there and says, pretty nice coach. Listen to that thing, and I got to keep rolling. You know, these guys that stay after and watch the ball game and see what the caliber of the ball was. And so, you know, I tell all these stories back in Chicago, and I still have my 9-year-old brother say, yeah, that stuff is true. That really happened. So, in any case, I really think we have something going here. I don't mean just the baseball heritage museum, which is beautiful. It's a gem. It's a gem like that. But, you know, your stories, your friendships, your relationships, your history, keep it going. Just keep it going. You know, Chicago's a great place. I'll never leave when I was in Chicago. But we never had, we were too big. You were centralized. You people were very much into amateur ball, semi-pro ball, whatever you want to call it. You follow your guys like Gary Roy, as well as guys who, you know, played a lot of years in pro ball. So, with that, I want to finish with an email I got. Back home, Steve Stone, who signed after he played with us, signed with the Giants, and had a pretty decent career. As a matter of fact, he was a Cy Young Award one year. So if you can go to his email address, it's cyyoung1104@hotmail.com and all that. Anyhow, Steve is now working as the colorman for the White Sox ball games. And he's highly respected and very popular in Chicago, which is a hard thing to do because in Chicago, you were either a North Sider, which meant Cubs, or a South Sider, which meant Sox. You know? And then all of a sudden, a lot of Cubs fans, a lot of Sox fans, I don't know if they jumped the ship or what, but all of a sudden, you see a lot of Cubs fans on the South Side of Chicago. And that was never that way in the 50s and 60s. But anyhow, Steve started as an announcer with working with Harry Carey on the North Side, spent a good number of years there, and then he came over to the White Sox, and he's been with the White Sox now in the telephone booth for in the telephone area for about 8 to 10 years. So anyhow, we get together periodically, but Steve couldn't make it here today, but he wanted to share with Frank and his teammates and all of you his feelings about that. So if you bear with me, I'll finish by reading Steve Stone's email. I'm very happy that Cleveland Class A Sandlot baseball is being recognized for the special experience it was. Without my involvement with the Winham Truckers, I'm not sure what I would have accomplished. Frank Petruno invited me to play with this group of dedicated players. It was my first experience playing with older men who had some pro experience. I learned a great deal from Nobby Lewandowski, Lou Conra, and Paul Sept. There was Phil Bova, Russ Chase, and Al Drews. I learned about baseball, and even more important, I learned about life. Playing with and against the best that Cleveland had to offer was special. We had a Cleveland Indian named Dave Pope on our ball club. I look forward to the games and the practices. If memory serves me, we had our locker room under a bar that was pretty lively. And that was Boris's, I believe, across from Woodland Hills. What an experience. I owe all those guys a debt of gratitude. You helped me become what I became. I hope that somehow Cleveland Sandlot baseball at the top level can be what it once was. It was a place to learn about a great game, and at the same time, it was a place to learn about different people of all colors and creeds. You guys taught me a lot about life in baseball. What could be better than that? Steve Stone.
Let's try something. Let's turn this one off. We got to make sure this is off or we'll get a reverberation effect. I don't know how to work those things either. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So let me follow up on John's remarks about Chicago. Not only do we have the best organized program, but at the end of the season, the Cleveland Baseball Federation, put on a top-notch banquet. Hear me? It's that little thing. Thanks, John. Well, you're an expert at it by now. Is it working? Well, we'll see. You broke the damn thing, by the way. Here, I want to ask Mike Quinn to stand up. 1960 or whatever it was, he was on the citywide Class F championship team. And they were honored just right. Every championship team was honored at this banquet at a downtown hotel. What was the hotel? The Bangor. Oh, the Purple Tree Room. The Bangor Hotel. And along with Class A right on down the line. They had a main speaker, Ed Bang, the legendary sports editor of the Cleveland News, and he was their speaker. Well, a few years later, I attended the banquet, and it was at the Carter Hotel. There were 1,000 people in there, and they imported, the main speaker was a sports columnist from Washington, D.C. I can't remember his name now, but he was very well known at the time. And he gave a hilarious talk, very funny, and he had a lot of good material, of course. He made fun of the Washington Senators, who were not very good then. Weren't for most of them. They weren't very good for decades. Anyway, that's what everybody was honored. They got huge trophies. And you're right, the Century Club, we didn't use tax money for anything in Sandlot baseball. It was all done with this private foundation. And then you mentioned the major leaguers, or the ball players coming back, minor leaguers, sometimes major leaguers, coming back to town to play. They were called classmen. There were limits to how many classmen a team could have. 4. Sometimes I heard 2, 3, 2, but it was 4. Huh? Okay. Is that right, Al? 3. Frank says 3. Okay. As I said, yeah, we heard different numbers. But anyway, yeah, that's why a lot of these guys, they made it up to AAA. So, came back, we're amateurs again. What, that's like saying you're a virgin again. What the hell? Avery Brundage was spinning in his grave. Oh, you had to sit out a year. Well, if you get your face beat up in a collision at home plate like Dick King, you're happy to sit out a year. Okay. Phil Bova, you're next. Thanks for waiting.
Thank you so much, Dan. I don't need that. Can you hear me back there? Can you hear me back there? Sure. Thank you very much, Dan. And by the way, Mr. Nobby Lewandowski, I never played right field in my life. I was your second baseman. I'm with you all that time. But I still love you. Right field! Come on! All right, here. I know you guys got a lot to do. Gary Roggenberg says both. Keep it short. You're going to Mass. You want me to go to Mass? Okay. But we did it. We're thrilled that you are all here. Our committee said, how are we going to get all this information out in a short period of time? Well, fortunately, there was a picture in the paper yesterday. Are you ready for this? Here we go. You got Bud Biddle, Raleigh Hudak, Al Drews, Jack Oring. Okay, now Jack Oring is Gary's brother, God rest his soul. Now here's the story. I got to tell you how I first got started and how my final game. In case any of you are interested, nice guy Phil, referee for 30 years in the Big Ten, NCAA basketball player, referee for 40 years. I'm barred for life in Lakewood. True. And it's in his book, and it's in my book, so we're both on a fixed income, so buy the book. All right, here we go. Here's the situation. Now, mind you, Al Drews is the CBF director at Edgewater. I'm 12 years old. He's 15 years old. He's really taught me, put the bat in your hand, knuckle to knuckle. It really started my career off. Now, we didn't have the cell phones going, so we had to go knock on doors to get people down there. I think we had 2 teams and we played each other 100 times, but it was fun. That's how I got started. And the beauty part of being a Sandlot baseball player and making these great memories that we have, this man over here was in my wedding party and we will be married 55 years to that lady over there, November 19th. So give her a round of applause. Are you serious? And that's a fact. Thank you. And St. Brendan's Day genuflect. She's going right by purgatory, straight to heaven. Now, here's the situation. The reason I say that, I started my career with Gary, or with Albie, and I ended it with his brother. And I'm going to share this with you. Madison Park. The winner of this game goes to Battle Creek, baby. We're getting our clocks cleaned. Dobby was pitching. 8-1. We come back. Ninth inning. Clark Gray's on the mound. Aromatic valve. The bovine's up. I'm fouling off pitch after pitch after pitch. Place is packed. With police officers, I might add, too. My father was a Cleveland detective. He's in the stands with my brother, who's also a policeman. And the place is loaded with Lakewood police officers. Next pitch, line drive, left field, base hit. Bud Minnows in left field. He's the Miami coach at that time. Run, it's 8. The score's now 8. The score was 8-5. Run scores. 2-run scores. Now it's 8-7. Here comes Bulver around the corner, baby. Hit the base with the inside foot. Coming around second. Stay there, Phil. Stay there, Phil. But no, I had to get to third base, but Bud bobbles the ball. Now I gotta go. Right? Here comes the throw. Straddle the bag. Jack Ory, Gary's brother, tags me up here on the top of the head. I slide in. I hear out, but I understand that the umpire went safe. But all we heard was out. Well, needless to say, it was Katie by the door when I did realize that I was out. So evidently, nice guy Phil, who's supposed to control games all these years and control the rules, I started a major riot. Both benches empty. His brother, God rest his soul, I'm bumping him, and evidently I did some things I'm still to this day sorry for. So consequently, both benches empty. My father, God rest his soul, is crawling up the screen. The killed Bunyak, the umpire. My brother's going up to crank my father down. So consequently, we lost the game. Because I took third base, and you never end a baseball game. The third out should never be end at third base. Well, the guy who runs the camp for 45 years had to share that with his baseball guys every single year. But the beauty part of it is, if we checked right now, and I'm barred for life, by the way, they don't want to hear nothing. And I have a nephew, Phil Bowman, who played basketball at St. Ed's. He goes into the summer league in Lakewood. They won't let him play because they think he's me. I go, get over it already. Come out of it. And you even said I shouldn't have been barred that long, maybe a year, but for life, like I really care. So here's my first at bat, and this guy's brother tagged me out at third base. Now here's the best part. I know right now if we took a heavenly vote, his brother would go out. My brother Frank, God rest his soul, would go safe. And of course, Joe Buniak would favor your brother out. So I know the heavenly group up there would say I went out, but I'm a safe gentleman here to be blessed with the people that I've been able to play all these wonderful years since I was 11 years old to make the wonderful memories that we have today. And all the guys on the committee shared how much it meant to them to be with professionals like you are and with their lovely wives and their families. And here we are together 55, 60 years later and sharing this. He wants me to tell you what I did to his brother that I just found out 4 days ago. I broke his nose. And I've told this story 100 times. I'm sorry. I love you, man. I don't know how I did it, but evidently I did. But those darn umpires. But anyhow, for many of you know, we had a baseball school for 45 years. Over 9,000 kids we trained. You know why that happened? Because I played Sandlot baseball. I said, God in heaven, the Holy Spirit, I'm blessed twice. Be able to referee college basketball for 44 years, had the best referees camp in the entire country, ranked #1. But I'm telling you, this baseball camp, I was extremely proud because we trained kids to get to the next level. And watch the Indians. They should have come to the camp. Hit the cutoff man, catch the baseball. But you know why my camp was successful? Because I had guys on my staff that I grew up with, I trained with, they do the game, and fundamentally they're sound, and they're great men today. Some of them couldn't be here today, but they certainly expressed their happiness to be for you guys, for all of us to share this unique memory. And at this time, I need to just do this. The Wenham people, you are the absolute prestigious, most wonderful group that we've ever had, that I know of in Class A baseball. And because of you, our legacy will be on and last for a lifetime. So, Mr. and Mrs. Wenham and your entire family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. At this time, I would like all of the Sandlot players, A all the way down to NABF, Class E, Class F, stand up, please. If you can, stand up. Let's give them a nice round of applause. You guys deserve it. You guys did it. I also want to say thank you. You can sit down. I feel like I'm in class. You can sit down. And you may not get back up again. But seriously, on behalf of our Cleveland Baseball Sandlot Committee, the Heritage Museum have done a wonderful job of working and coordinating this whole thing. Many, many names have been mentioned, so I don't want to mention anymore for the fear I may forget. But thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support and friendship. And God willing, we're going to do this in the next year or so or future. Please, if you've had a good time, spread the word to everyone. Thank you, and thank you. Assistant, you know.
Alan, you're up. Oh, you need a microphone, don't you?
Guarantee you, I won't keep you more than 5 minutes. Okay. I get a chance to talk about what Sandlot baseball means to me. And I'm going to start out by saying my relationship with Sandlot baseball began when I was about 6 years old. When my father started bringing me to the Class A baseball games, he loved to watch it every week. Although he was a German immigrant, somehow was attracted to this sport, and as a result, he transmitted that love to me. When I was 8 years old, I began a 20-year relationship with Sandlot baseball, and I joined the Class F baseball team to play at Edgewater Park. I played Class F every year until I was 12, and then started playing in Lakewood. Until I started playing in Lakewood and managed to work and playing on teams until I got to high school. As I got older, I continued playing on Sandlot teams in Class E, Class C, and finally to the Class A, where I played 11 straight years on 6 different teams. I also was able to get a Class F art director's job for 2 years when I was in high school. That was a job I really loved. And I found out that Frank started out that way too, that he was a Class F director guy. Because of all my years in Cleveland Sandlot baseball, my skill level enabled me to play 3 years of varsity baseball at West High. I was named to the All-Ohio team in 1959, thanks to my coach, After high school, I received a scholarship to play ball in Western Michigan, who at that time was one of the top 10 Division I baseball programs in America. Saturday night wearing a replica of the Task Reward back in that era, because we had a reunion of Decade of Champions a few years ago. That task was passed out. I cherish this, and I will take it everywhere I go. During my days at Western, I played on teams that went undefeated in the Mid-American for 3 years in a row. We had 202 and no record, and 3 national matches. And we went to the College World Series twice. During this time frame, I always recount on playing high level baseball in Class A during the summer. After graduating from Western, I was hired as teaching coach at my alma mater, West High, in 1964. I got a chance to coach with my coach, Jimmy Delvecchio. My baseball background had a lot to do with that because of my time spent on Sandlot. In addition, John Hayden gave me summer work as a district school supervisor for the rec department for several years. Again, that was because of Sandlot baseball. John knew who I was. He wanted me on his team at Romance City Hall. In 1967, I was drafted by Frank Petruno at the end of the season to play center field for the Orange Truckers in the ABC tournament. You do that in the year, you go get some players from the league, take them with you. And I was fortunate to be picked by Frank. And that happened to me, I knew I arrived as a bona fide ball player in Cleveland because Frank was so good at gathering solid players to play with him and for him. And that is how I ended my playing days, playing 2 more years for Wentz. During the entire 20-year time frame, I played with many fine players and formed many great relationships, which I treasure with each passing year. And it's all due to Sandlot baseball. There was no doubt about it. There could never match that. And now, I want to announce that Frank Petruno will be the first person to be added to the John Hayden Gratitude Plaque to be housed at this very museum. We remember this day. Sandlot old timers want to honor him with this specially created plaque. Frank,
I don't need a mic, but I'm a lot like Bill Bogle over here. Now I can understand why Bobby Knight threw the chair at him. As far as John Ziegler is concerned, he was a young kid walking through Woodhill Park because he read in the paper that Petruno was having the trials. And I was sitting on the bench. Mike Garcia was a very good friend of mine, and he was at our practices, and him and I was bullshit, talk to baseball and everything. And all of a sudden, we see this kid walking up, and Mike said, "Who's this?" "I don't know." So he goes to the play with John Davis, he said, "I've seen the play dealers, and you're having tryouts." He said, "So I'd like to try out." I said, "Yeah, go ahead out there." He wasn't very good. I didn't get the ball out of here, so he was kind of depressed. But I just threw all that to the guys like John Ziegler over the years of managing. So I said, "That's okay." I said, "See you tomorrow." And John turned into be one fine ball player for me. Besides a good coach. I helped John get into Bowling High School, where he ended up coaching football, and he also, I got with the recreation department, and I ran with the homes. I brought John in there. We had the Pee-wee football team, the team called Costello's, and the first year that John Hayden and Bill Willis paid to take the team over was simply because they got to have another team. So I said, "Bill Willis," I said, "When's the season start?" He said, "In about 2 weeks." I said, "Bill, how am I going to get together, get 20 kids out here to play football, Pee-wee football?" And it was pretty much like, "Frank, that's your problem." Well, as it turned out, I took the team, get with a game, didn't score a touchdown with the Pee-wee Costello until the final game of the season. And what happened was that we finally were moving to the ball, we got the ball down to the 50-yard line. And the 50-yard line said, are. Of course, they did. And what happened, we got down to about the 6-inch line, and Bernie Summer went in over, and we got a touchdown, and the fans went crazy. As a matter of fact, the Sunday, the play dealer came out, and Gordon Gobbled it. There was an editorial on us. We were talking about the team that got together because the community got together. The situation between the whites and the blacks wouldn't play together. But they did then. They had one touchdown. The following year, we won the championship in the city of Cleveland and had the opportunity to play in the Cleveland Stadium before Browns game. The point is to give the kids the opportunity. When I was young, I got involved in sports, and I'll be quick. I was born in a little town in Pennsylvania, Sykesville, Pennsylvania. I said, at that particular time, I liked to play baseball, but we had no place to play baseball. So we had 4 churches, and we had 7 bars, and about 350 people, and 1 baseball diamond. But the baseball diamond was owned by the mining company, and they had jurisdiction over it. So what I had to do was I had to use the church's parking lot to build up the diamond so that we could play ball. And that's how I got interested. That year, in 1942, we moved to Cleveland. We moved to Cleveland on Dickens Avenue, which runs alongside the Woodland Hills Park. Here, I didn't have a diamond at all, except 1 diamond in Pennsylvania. I had 12 diamonds looking out my front door to play baseball on. And I got to know the instructor in Class F, whose name was Mr. Forstall. And he was in charge of the recreation department and also Class F at Woodland Park. And I talked to him and he said, hey kid, he said, I'm 12 years old. He said, if you want, he said, help me out. I said, doing what? He said, oh, but they put it about 8:30 in the morning, come to the house, put it in the wagon, and we take it up to the park and distribute it to the Class F kids. I said, oh wow, that's great. I'd love to do that. So that was my first initiation into Sandlot baseball. And I got to know it pretty well. So it ended up that I had nothing to do in the evening. So Martinez and Rosenblum's, those were the big teams, not the Indians. Rosenblum's and Martinez, our team, Dark High, and Jack Ruby, my manager, they were like they're talking game. So what happened with that situation, we got together and we had a pretty good program, went to Class F program, and I got taking coffee and asked me to come and work for City Hall, which I did. So here I had another job in the baseball area. And ever since then I get a call one time from Mr. Ziller from here, and he says, I understand, he says, I talked to Nabi Lewandowski. He said, I'd like to put stuff in the museum over here. He said, we understand you got some material. I said, well, yeah, I said, I got a lot of material. He said, I'd like to get some of it. I said, yeah, come on over right now. And he says, I said, when you get my, he said, Nabi Lewandowski called me. I said, no, I said, okay. I said, I understand what you went through. I know Nabi. Get into Nabi. He was one of my pitchers. And Nabi was a 20-game winner. He Class A when I started batting. 20-game winner. And he only played about 35 games, but he won 20 of them. And the other pitcher was George Newman. Well, they were both the same. Thinking was. Nabi, I love Nabi because what happened, occasionally if I had to go ahead and pull him out of the ball game, he'd see me walk into towards pitching mound, and Nabi said,
Get the hell out of here.
What do you go for? I said, Nabi, give me the ball. And I said, besides that, I want to thank you. I said, you know what? By the time I take you out of the game, from walking from the bench to the mound, I said, my pitching brush shakes. My reliever was always ready to come in for you, so give the ball and get the hell out of here. That was Nabi, but he was unbeatable. And then we had George Newman. And George Newman was the same as Navi. He was the one that you big game I mentioned. And what would happen in that situation, I would have enjoyed having Newman in the other picture we had. Who was the one we had Navi?
Russ James.
No, Kanye? No, Lou Kanye.
knows? Oh, Steve Stone.
Well, Steve Stone, yeah, I had a lot of those guys. But like I said, Navi and, who was the other? Who? No.
What's the prize for whoever gets it right?
I was just trying to think of whoever gets it.
Lefty or righty?
I'll give you my plaque if you can guess who the other is. But they were both pitchers, and they all both have one thing in common. And I like it on them. They would have a great pitch. If they didn't like the way you're standing in the ground, right to the hair. They were building in the head to this day. So that's all I've got to say. Thank you for coming. If it wasn't for Sandlot baseball, I'd have a successful life. I've done very, very well in life. Thank you. See you next year. I'm going to be playing out here. Okay? Thank you.
I have a question. How many people here saw the Cleveland Indians play at League Park besides myself?
Yeah, get a mic up.